Well, good Saturday morning, everybody. Mark Finan here in the home weather office. It is the 14th day of December, 2024, and this is a rare Saturday morning briefing coming to you from the home weather office. Thought I'd check in because we do have that good storm blowing through the area right now, so I thought I'd give you an update on the wind, the rain, and the snow that we're going to see as we go through the day today and how that's going to play out. As I look out the window from the home weather office, it's still kind of dark. I'm recording this about 10 past 7 on Saturday morning. But I can certainly hear the rain, and it's also somewhat windy. However, it does look as though the highest winds are likely behind us for the valley, and the winds will gradually be easing over the next couple of hours. Let me start with the radar first thing this morning. And again, I'm recording this around 7 o'clock, so if you're looking at this at 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, obviously it's going to be quite a bit different, but this is how it has looked over the last couple of hours, starting back around 5 a.m. So this covers 2 hours, and you can just see a wide area of moderate to occasional heavy rain going through the area. Around the Sacramento area over the last couple of hours, the rain has been coming down at about 0.15 inches per hour, so between 1 and 2/10 of an inch of rain per hour, and that's going to continue for the next couple of hours. You can see there is a bit of a break back in here, so we are going to see this gradually push into the foothills and into the Sierra. And as this goes by, the winds will be decreasing as well. The snow level this morning is up around 4,500 to 5,000 feet. It will stay in that range and then gradually come down a little bit as the baggage of this thing rolls through and we do get into some cooler air. So that's the way it looks on the radar. Let's talk a little bit about the wind. Let me reposition this. So for this, I've gone to a site called Mezzo West, and there's all sorts of good data on here. And what you're looking at here are current wind gusts. So for instance, if you look here at SMF, right now the top wind gust is 45 miles an hour within the last hour. I can also click on this and then go over to wind. And this is what I wanted to point out was these little green dots. These are the wind gusts. So this goes back to late last night, around 11 o'clock midnight. This little green dot up here is a wind gust up around 48 miles an hour. And then as you can see, there was a lull, and then they picked back up again to gusts around 40. But it does appear as though the strongest wind gusts happened around midnight. And while we are still seeing some gusts around the upper 30s to around 40, I think we're going to see this gradual trend lower as we go through the next few hours. The red line here is the actual sustained wind speed. And as you can see, there was a lull there, and then it picked back up again. And now that's also starting to go off. So you can see that the sustained winds here are lower than what we saw back around between 9 and midnight. This is 9 o'clock, this is midnight, so that's that 3-hour window there. So you can see that if you just kind of average there, we were seeing sustained winds up around 26. Now we're seeing sustained winds around 22, had higher gusts then, have lower gusts now, and this will continue to decrease as we go through the next couple hours. Now that's just a snapshot of SMF, but I was finding similar in other locations. The only difference to this is that in the Sierra, we will see the winds stay a little bit longer. All right, here's the way the HRRR shows it this morning. A nice low here, and as you can see, the pressure gradient is pretty tight. Somebody asked about pressure gradients yesterday, and so you can see this closed circle here. That's the isobar. That's where the low is right there. So a closed isobar indicating a low. And then, so what you have is the wind direction is from the south-southeast, so the air is trying to flow from high pressure to low pressure, going more or less perpendicular to these isobars, and the tighter the isobars are, the tighter the pressure gradient is. So this is the way the model is showing it around 8 o'clock this morning. There's that band of rain, matches up pretty nicely with what I just showed you on radar, with that band of clearing back here off the coast, and there is the snow in the Sierra. So that's the first thing this morning. Let me go up to about noontime. So this is noontime. By then, the west slope is certainly still getting a lot of rain. The Sierra is getting snow, still above 5,000 feet. We still have a pretty good gradient, and you can see the low is making its way inland, but there is also an area for, let's say, Solano County that is now basically dry. Same thing in Napa County, and much of the valley dries out. Again, that's noontime. 2 hours later, The valley is basically dry. We are still getting snow in the Sierra, probably coming down still at least an inch an hour. Between now and let's say about 5 o'clock this evening, we are going to see heavy snow in the Sierra. As I checked recently on Caltrans, they were holding traffic, which is kind of like saying the road is closed. This is around 5 o'clock. The valley is dry. It is still snowing in the Sierra. There will still be chain controls. And then as we go through the night tonight, everything dries out. Now, there is one other wild card here, and I'm going to switch this just over to precip and do simulated reflectivity, because there's also been, well, concern is too strong a word, but there's been, well, we've been wondering whether or not we see any thunderstorms in the wake of this. And what you're looking for is this sort of cellular pattern here in the valley. This is around 5, 6 o'clock. And so the models have been pretty consistent, showing maybe a chance of an afternoon thunderstorm, maybe popping up around the Redding area, Red Bluff. I'd go maybe even as far south as Marysville. We could see a thunderstorm. We might be seeing something like that, or at least a convective buildup in the colder air. But it doesn't look as though that threat would be farther to the south. The coldest air is going to be to the north, on the north side of that low. And so as we go into the evening, any threat of thunderstorms does dissipate. So I'm not saying that there's a 0% chance of thunderstorms. I'm just saying that the best chance of thunderstorms is probably from, let's say, Highway 20. That would be the Marysville area going across the valley and to the north. And the time on that would be between about 4 and maybe 6 or 7 p.m. And then as we get into the night tonight, everything does decrease. Let's talk about total precip accumulation here. Total precip accumulation, which is right here. So according to the HRRR, the valley picks up another 3/4 of an inch of rain. The foothills pick up another inch of rain. Now that's on top of what we have already had. This is from, let's say, about 5 o'clock in the morning on. The foothills getting an additional inch of rain. But all of this looks like a very manageable amount of rain. We still are not expecting any problems on streams and creeks, but there may be some big puddles on the roadways. I think that's about it. And in the Sierra, we will be seeing the snow come down at 1 to 2 inches an hour, and we will be seeing the ski areas are likely going to be reporting 2 feet of snow, I would think, by the time everything wraps up. And then Sunday is going to be a dry day. For more on that, let's go over to the NAM. The NAM version will go out farther in time, and will get us into that situation on Monday. This is that low, really showing up nicely here on the model. And there is that nice tight pressure gradient. As we get it to 1 o'clock, there's that low. And again, still windy. And then that gradient really tapers off in the afternoon. So you notice the pressure gradient here versus the pressure gradient here. That's the winds dropping off rapidly in the afternoon. And then as we head through the evening tonight, everything dries out. Sunday is dry. This is all the way to Sunday evening. And then here comes that system on Monday, looking relatively weak, but we still can see 1 to 2/10 of an inch of rain. But the best part of that is going to slide off to our north, keeping us in some clouds even into the day on Tuesday. But for the rest of this morning, the Saturday morning, it is going to be rather windy and wet, but all of that will be decreasing for the afternoon. And then tomorrow is a completely dry day. But do keep in mind that the Sierra will be seeing snow. We'll likely see very slow traffic and occasional holds on traffic, if not road closures from time to time, as we go through the day today and even into the afternoon. Classic one of those cases this afternoon that around 3 o'clock in the valley, we will likely be dry, but it'll still be snowing in the mountains. And it could be one of those cases you leave the valley saying, oh, the storm's over, I can go to the mountains now. No, it'll still be snowing up there into the late afternoon and into the early evening. So that's what I've got for you on this Saturday morning. Just wanted to give you a quick update on what is going on. And enjoy your day tomorrow. Likely I won't be checking in during the day tomorrow. Make it a great Saturday. I'll talk with you later.